Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Medical School Readiness Series information session. We will be giving students just a couple more minutes to join, and then we'll start in the next 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021-2022 MSR Series Information Session. We are super excited to have you here, and we hope that this session helps answer any questions that you might have for the program. So, today we will discuss our mission and vision and general information about the MSR program, such as who, what, when, and where, and how we do what we do so that you are all more aware of the program and you're ready to apply. We're going to start by introducing ourselves. So who is the MSR team? It's us. My name is Atsiri Barbosa. I am the Central California MSR lead, and I am super excited to be this year's MSR lead for Central California. I did MSR last year, and I will be applying to medical school in the 2022 cycle.
Hello, everyone. I apologize for the background noise. My name is Guadalupe, and I am the Southern California MSR lead. And I was also last year's Southern California MSR lead. And I look forward to getting to know you all and supporting you throughout the process of applying to medical school.
Jessica will not be able to be here today, but she is also one of our NorCal co-leads, and she was also part of this past MSR cohort. And my name is Alondra, and I'm another NorCal co-lead, and I did MSR a couple years ago, and I'm excited to be here and get to help y'all with this.
Hi everyone, my name is Nancy Garibay, and I will be serving as another Northern California MSR lead, and I'm really excited to get to know all of you. This year I participated in the MSR cohort, and I'm currently applying to medical school. So it's a very exciting time, and I'm so excited for all of you guys to apply.
So who's MSR? MSR is really, it's you, it's really you. MSR is for students who are applying to medical school in the 2022 cycle. MSR provides help in their application, in developing their application. And we also provide one-on-one mentorship for students, and we pair them with mentors who are doctors or medical students. And MSR provides a community where everyone is supporting them, and our goal is to help students embrace their journey and effectively portray their application. You're going to be surrounded by students who are all going through the same process, and everyone is going to be providing support, including us. We're just going to be providing support for you so you can be the best applicant possible.
All right, and I'll discuss the mission and values just so that you guys know what they are. So the mission of MSR is similar to the mission of eMentor, to develop and support innovative mentorship opportunities that will inspire the next generation of diverse healthcare leaders for underserved communities. Our vision is a world where all aspiring and current health professionals have a mentor. Mentorship has played a really big role in my life, and so I'm happy that this is one of the visions because it's definitely needed. We definitely need to stand, on the shoulders of giants, and I feel like this program provides precisely that. And MSR's mission specifically is to improve your medical school application. Students will learn to share their story, create a theme for their application, and be best prepared to make decisions when it comes to their individualized application. And I think it's important to point out this last piece, individualized application. Everyone's application is going to look different. We all have different experiences, but MSR is really trying to create a space to allow for you to figure out what your theme is and what you want to center around so that you have a very strong application in the end. So how do we do that? And what do we do? So we make you ready for medical school. And the way we do that is we provide monthly workshops. They're centered on the medical school application topics. So as you can see on the right, some of the workshops that are included are an information session on the MCAT, the ACOMAS and AMCAS timelines, the personal and disadvantage statements, and how to create a compelling narrative that fits around your story. 15 activities and the most meaningful experiences, which each have different character counts. The letters of recommendation, selecting medical schools. It's really important to select medical schools that are tailored to your own personal application. And we also offer a workshop on financing medical school. It can be very expensive to attend medical school, but we don't want that to be a deterrent for anyone to apply. We also focus on wellness topics, talking about things like imposter syndrome and stereotype threat. And we review your primaries and secondaries through your mentors that you were paired with. We also discuss other topics such as health equity, policy, and even rural medicine. We also help you with preparing for mock interviews, which is really important, again, because you want to practice to make perfect. And at the very end, we do a study skills session. So current medical students or people who have already attended medical school, like residents or doctors, come and speak about how they studied for their big exam, which is step 1. And in terms of the time commitment, what that looks like is you will do 3 to 4 hours on Sundays. And it's led by really nice physicians and medical students. So we really try to provide a welcoming environment so that you feel welcome to share your story. And we do small group discussions and interview prep in those small discussions throughout the entire year. So even if you don't get chosen for the first set of interview prep, you can always do it throughout the year.
So some of the webinars that Nancy was talking about will be led by admissions leaders as well as like physicians from California schools such as like UCSF, UC Davis, and Kaiser Permanente. So you'll be getting like very helpful information to better prepare you for when you apply, as well as you get to know like what those schools are looking for and how you may be a better fit for the programs. And then we'll be also do some more bonding time just because it can be a little hard to connect virtually. So we'll have like some hikes, do some like writing workshops so you can like improve on like your personal statement or like maybe if you're working on secondaries in the future, as well as self-care activities, because this could be a difficult process, but together we can all help each other get to our goal.
So where will this happen, you may ask? And we're fortunate that, we have Zoom and with this pandemic, we have faced many challenges, but we also have to look at the positives. And one of those is that we're able to, all unite in one room virtually from the comfort of your home. So these sessions will be offered via Zoom every Sunday, well, once a month, every Sunday, and every 2 months, we will have a separate session on Saturdays. I'll speak more about that in the next slide, but essentially most if not all of the sessions will be via Zoom. but there may be some instances where some events may happen depending on the region that you're in, which is why we ask that whether you're applying and you come from SoCal, but let's say you're attending school in North Cal, you're going to say that in your application, you're going to write that you are from Northern California, despite the fact that you probably came from SoCal, because we would like you to attend the events where you're currently located, because it may be hard for you to travel if you're in North Cal to SoCal and so on. So yeah, and then like I said, some events may be in person, but we will definitely let you know beforehand so you can plan accordingly. And then when will they happen? As Nancy mentioned earlier, they will happen every Sunday. These are some just of the tentative dates. Typically it will most likely always be the second Sunday of every month, except like, as I mentioned, every second, essentially the third month of like the cycle. So for example, September, October, we will only have one session, but November, we're gonna have two. And it'll be the second Sunday and then the fourth Saturday. And then the same will happen. So like December, one session, January, one session, and then come February, you're gonna have two sessions. And so it'll be a total of about like 14 sessions, and they will all be from like 9 to 12. And so application, as you all know, has been released and it'll be due September 3rd. And so there will be like about 1 week of a turnaround to let you know the status of your application. And yeah, so basically, if you have any questions about that, you can also just write it down in the chat, or we will have a Q&A portion. But this is just an idea of like the dates that you are going to have to keep in mind to make sure that you are able to, you know, request off work or whatever it needs for you to be able to attend the workshops. Okay. So yeah, that was basically a rundown of what the program is. And we encourage you all to just raise your hand or unmute yourselves if you have any questions, or write it on the chat. At the end of the session, we will have a survey, a brief survey that we ask for you to complete. It's just 3 questions asking you to just write down your name, your email, and then any sessions that you're interested in learning about, aside from the medical school curriculum that we will be focusing on. So yeah, right now, if you all have any questions, I see some in the chat. Let's see, where can we find the application? So the application is found on the Mi Mentor website, but it's also found in our Instagram. So if you look up Mi Mentor, the application should be there, but we can also link it in the chat right now. Are you able to? Yes, we will go ahead and do that. Let's see. So I can read out the next question. How many students will be accepted? Is it competitive? Would anyone like to answer that from my team? I can briefly add from like last year's experience, we took on about 180 students. We did have to let a couple of them go. It is, I don't like the word competitive because it insinuates that, you know, like, I guess some applications are better than others, but typically, you know, what we like to do is we like to look at students who are on track to be able to apply to medical school next year, because that is what this program focuses on. So for example, like let's say that you're a student who has no clinical hours and has like no prior experience in terms of like maybe research or like science courses, or hasn't taken the MCAT, and we kind of have an idea that, you know, it isn't feasible for you to be able to apply next year, then, you know, we ask those students to look at the program at another year and apply then. But we do, you know, provide you feedback to make sure that you can improve your application if it is needed. I don't know if anyone would like to add anything else.
Yeah, I would say that we're looking for people who are motivated, as Guadalupe said, to apply this upcoming cycle. So just to reiterate, like making sure that you have all of the necessary, you know, steps that you need to work on. Not having taken the MCAT is okay. You can always do it throughout the year. But we definitely want people who will be applying in the upcoming cycle.
And another thing I'd like to add is just make sure you answer all the questions to for your application to be complete.
Yes, that is a very important point. If you do not complete the entire application, then we will not look at your application. You may be surprised. There are some students who just like skip questions and literally write like a period on their personal statement, and we are not going to look at those apps, unfortunately.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So I completed the application, but I was very unsure because when I read that about you need to answer every single question, I wasn't sure if I did. So it looked like I did, and I sent an email to ask if it was completed completely. But who can I reach out to follow up on that? Because I did email the MSR email that was provided in the application. But do you know how long the turnaround time is on emails?
So we're currently working on closing out this last year's MSR, and we just recently had our workshop. So we are a bit behind on emails for this upcoming cycle. So just give us a week. We will try to shorten that to like 2 to 3 business days as a time limit for emails moving forward. But as we're closing out this year, we do need a bit extra time to just take a look at that. But thank you for emailing us. If you do have any questions about like submitting your application, just go ahead and email us and we'll verify that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Hi, I have another question. I also sent an email, but that totally makes sense why I haven't heard back from y'all. But about the MCAT, I haven't taken the MCAT yet, but I do plan on taking it in January. So for one of the application questions, it was asking what's your MCAT score? And I don't currently have it yet. So what do you recommend doing in that case? Because there's no option to say like I haven't taken yet. And I don't want to leave it blank for like that reason, because I vividly saw that on the thing and I don't want to be like disqualified from that. But yeah, if you guys have any advice about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think just putting an A, so like just an N / and an A to say that it's not applicable to you.
I think it's a multiple choice question. And I don't think it has an answer choice that says other. If I'm not mistaken, I can take a quick look at it.
We can go ahead and make that change. In that case, we would suggest we're gonna add like an other component to that. And in that case, select other. And then if you have been practicing and taking any practice tests, go ahead and write those scores. And then in parentheses, you can write, I will be taking it in January or something like that.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah, because I do plan on taking like a practice test, but that's not going to be my official one. But yeah, there's no option to put that. But okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Any other pressing questions before we go to the chat?
Yeah, I just like to mention, so going back to the applications, for example, if you don't have the whole 15 experiences and we cannot fit out all of them, what is still be considered incomplete, or do we just put not applicable or something with that?
No, the application will not be considered incomplete. Your experiences are your experiences. So as long as you have, a few on there, that's totally fine. You can go ahead and write an A for the rest of them, or you can leave it blank. We completely understand that not everyone has 15 experiences. And even for AMCAS, sometimes people don't fill up those 15 experiences. So that's totally okay.
Yeah, it's definitely more important to think about quality over quantity. So the amount of time that you have in your activities rather than the number of activities you have is more important. So don't feel worried if you don't meet the 15 activities. Any other questions?
Hi. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I had a question in regards to whether certain, I was able to see the first few workshops that are going to be offered. I just wanted to make sure, do you know if some Sundays may potentially interfere with the MCAT Mini Academy that MedPep is offering? Because for those who are also applying for that one too. Just wanted to make sure.
I'm not too sure on their schedule. Do you know when their sessions will be?
Oh, I actually have a screenshot of it if you want me to send it to you through an email, maybe?
Just because you totally can, but in terms of like our sessions, they will be, in the case that they do change, it is possible that maybe one of them is going to change. And in that case, if that does happen, then we will go ahead and excuse your absence because, you know, we changed it on our end, but realistically, all of our sessions will be every second Sunday of the month.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And then, as I mentioned, the third Saturday would be the fourth Saturday of that month.
Gotcha.
I actually also had a quick question in regards to activities, and also kind of the order of them. It's probably a standard question, but would we put our most recent activities, kind of start from the most recent activities to the least recent, in terms of order?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Like on your actual AMCAS application, that's the way they will be listed. But if you do say like oldest to newest, that's totally fine. Just have some form of chronological order.
Alrighty, thank you.
And I see that a lot of people are asking if they're not California residents, can they still apply? So the program is for California residents, but we are opening it up to people that have ties to California. However, California residents will have priority. So after we've finished accepting all the students from California, then we'll start looking at all of the out-of-state students, just because it was designed to be a program for California first.
And this is just to add on to what Nancy said, it's just for grant purposes because a lot of the grants that we apply for do require us to only take to provide priority to students from California. So that's the reason why it's California centered. But like she said, you know, you're more than welcome to apply if you are out of state, but priority will be given to California residents. No more questions? We'll go on to the chat if there are no more questions. Okay, the next question here says, what is the deciding factor and main thing you look for in a student that will get accepted? I think a few of us already answered this, but just to add on, we're mainly looking for students who are motivated to apply to medical school in 2022. So that is essentially the main criteria, you know, to be able to have some sort of activities. You don't have to have a strong personal statement because, you know, we will be working on that throughout the year, but making sure that you put in some effort into writing it. It isn't something that we can notice that you write like 5 minutes before the deadline or something like that. And then someone here also said, I'm not sure if I'm ready to apply for 2022. I am either considering 2022 and 2023. Can I still apply?
I think if you're undecided, I would say you can apply, but if you know early on that you're gonna be applying in 2023, you can just let us know. However, we try to, like, if you want to say, because people can reapply to the program, but it's kind of the same thing. So like with out-of-state applicants, right? We're gonna consider those who are first-time applicants to reapply to MSR versus an applicant who has already applied and gone through the program. So it's okay if you go through the program and don't apply. You'd still have all the same information, you know, that the next cohort is going to get, but I feel like you'd probably be a little bit more like on your own in terms of applying. If anyone can add to that, I don't know. I was a first time applicant, so I'm not too sure.
No, yeah, definitely. So, you can also you're more than welcome to stay at the end of the session, and we can provide you more one-on-one response to that in terms of like maybe you have a specific case where you need extra support or you have more specific questions, so we can answer those if you would like to stay behind. But yeah, some of the students, they apply to the program and then they realize, oh, I'm not ready, and that's totally fine. You're more than welcome to change your mind, and it's better that you realize that now. So just go ahead and feel free to apply, but if you feel hesitant and would like to ask more questions, go ahead and stay behind. We do record the session, so that's another thing that we will be able to, let's say you apply this year and you decide you don't want to apply next year to medical school, then you will have those videos, those recorded videos on file, so that whenever you are ready to apply, you can take a reference to them.
Thank you. Bye.
Of course. The next question says, how successful have past students been in their applications with the help of these workshops? So there is a graph that I'm trying to look up right now. But just to say, overall, the matriculation rates for MSR students compared to the overall national level is definitely higher. So we have statistically shown that there is a benefit to these workshops. I'm gonna go ahead and try to look for that graph, but just to answer your question, there have been many students who have been in the program who have applied and have gotten into medical school in California schools specifically. Okay. What is the process of pairing up with a mentor or mentors? So this past year, the way that we did that, it was based on the homework that we assigned and whether you submitted it or not. And so that's how we went about pairing you with a mentor. This year, we would like to, have a more targeted way of doing that. So it is possible that we're going to send a survey that we will ask you about your interests to be able to pair you with a mentor who is kind of matching those interests. So this year, it'll run similarly, but we will provide you a mentor as we go on throughout the year. It wouldn't be just like in a wave as you would expect, like in the first month. It will be something that will happen throughout the next couple of months. If anyone likes to add anything else so far? No. Someone asked, is it okay that I am currently living in Arizona? Do I qualify for the program? Are you saying that you are from California, but you live in Arizona right now, or you're an Arizona resident? I don't know if they're still here. You can write it in the chat if you don't want to speak up. The next question, how do you define Northern versus Central California? For me, I'm in Stockton.
I would consider Bakersfield to Stockton, Central California, and then from Stockton, I don't know, it's hard, but from that's what I consider Central California, but I don't know what about the other leads.
Yeah, I agree. Stockton would be central, and then even though Sacramento is technically supposed to be Central California, we consider it northern.
I agree with
Gotcha.
you.
Stockton Central. Thank you for answering my question.
No problem. Okay, the next question. Can you still apply if you were a part of the 2020-2021 MSR, but decided to withdraw due to postponing application cycle? Yes, you are more than welcome to apply. If, let's say, you went through the entire program and you decided that you weren't ready to apply, versus a student who early on decided that they weren't ready, that puts you both at a different level, just because the student who went through the entire program was able to enjoy all of the workshops, versus if you early on decided to withdraw from the program in a way, in good standing, meaning that, you know, you let us know and everything. Just go ahead and write that in your application in additional comments so that we can take that into account. Okay, next question. If we don't have 15 activities, can we fill out the number of experiences we have without our application being flagged as incomplete? Yes, I think we have answered the question, and then we said, yeah, you don't need 15 activities. Okay, someone said it does have no and other from what I am seeing. I think that's referring to the MCAT question.
Yeah, it's the question that says, have you taken the MCAT? But right underneath, there's another question that says, where does your MCAT score fall under? But there's a red asterisk that I feel like if I even tried to submit it, it wouldn't even go through.
I see. Okay, so in that case, so you can say, basically in the prior question, say that you're gonna be planning to take it, and then in the question following, let's say you said you hadn't taken it, you're planning to take it. In the following question, you would write the score for like your practice exams, and we would know that you haven't taken
Okay,
it.
got it. So go ahead and leave that. But would I still be able to submit the application even though I don't fill out the second question? The one right after that?
You would have to submit it. You would have to complete it, but what I was saying was that you would not write the official score, but like a practice score.
Oh, got it. I got you. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. And then someone asked, yes, that would be our personal statement. Okay, if I have family in California, but I'm from New York, can I still apply just for online? Would anyone like to add on to that question?
I'm guessing no.
Yeah, so you do have to be yourself a California resident. Like let's say you are from New York, but you're going to a school in California, then you would be able to apply. But unfortunately, if it's only like family that is in California, but you aren't in California, then you would be considered an out-of-state resident. Thank you, Lenny, for answering. Okay. Someone also asked, what does it mean that by MCAT prep course, do you mean Princeton or Kaplan? Yeah, so you would just need like the name of the course that you're taking, whether you're like self-studying or it's like a course that you purchase. We don't need the course number or all of that. Okay, and then the next question says, where will the video be posted?
We could post this on Mi Mentor and probably also on our YouTube channel.
Okay, another question that we see here says, what sort of clinical experiences did you all have before applying to medical school? I often have trouble differentiating what would count as clinical versus non-clinical experiences. Would anyone like to answer this, Alondra or Atsiri?
I feel like clinical experiences, if you had like a hands-on experience where you were in a clinical setting, or if you were volunteering like at a free clinic, or like I would consider scribing, clinical experience. If you volunteer at a clinic and shadowing, I'm not 100% sure if it would be considered clinical experience, depending if you were doing like hands-on things or versus if you were just watching. So I don't know if that helps on answering the question, but maybe Alondra or Guadalupe have a more concrete answer.
Yeah, for clinical, if you're able to like smell the patient or be able to be that close, it'd be considered clinical.
Yeah, I think with the pandemic, that word has also been more lenient just because, you know, there are many students who haven't been able to do in-person clinical experience and they've done it like through shadowing, and some medical schools have taken that into account. So just making sure that you are able to, you know, differentiate from both, but also the fact that you are still shadowing through a pandemic also shows a lot of initiative on your part. So just make sure to include that experience as well. Okay. And then there's another question here that says, why are you applying as a disadvantaged student? What is considered disadvantaged? So typically disadvantaged from our understanding is that it's someone who comes from a low-income community or has faced, for example, someone like a student of color would also be considered a disadvantaged student. So those are like the main criteria that we are considering to be a disadvantaged student. I don't know if anyone from my team would like to add on to that.
And I think we're also following the WAMC disadvantage status or what they consider a disadvantage, which is pretty much social, economic, or educational disadvantage at any point in your life. So that's how you can apply as a disadvantaged student for medical school. And that's what we're also considering for this program.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Atsiri. I think that's important for us to mention because we are trying to make this application as close to the AAMC application as possible, the MCAS application, sorry, because it'll prepare you once you're going to be applying in the next year to just, you know, improve that application rather than starting from scratch. So if you pay attention to like the questions that we're asking, these are some of the basically the same questions that will be asked in the AAMC application. Okay, next question says, for the list of activities and experiences, I listed them based off importance and not chronological order. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. The first question being asked on the application cuts off. Yes, is it asking for a personal statement or why do you want to be a doctor? So why do you want to be a doctor is the personal statement. We did have a glitch where we accidentally shared like a copy of the application. So I think someone accidentally edited the application, but we're gonna go ahead and make that change. But that is correct. The personal statement question is, why do you want to be a doctor? And then someone asked, okay, thank you, Nancy. Okay, that seems to be all the questions on the chat. Are there, oh, I see one here. Someone said to confirm, we have to submit a PDF of the AAMC application and the Google form. No, so you just submit the Google form. What we mean by the AAMC application is at the end of the year, when you do submit, it is possible that we may require you to turn one in at the end of the year, obviously removing all identifiers and all of that, but that is just for us to keep for our records and be able to use for like analysis and stuff like that. So it won't be shared with anyone else. Okay, and then I have a private message here that says, for clarification, by responding no to the question, have you taken the MCAT? Should we select a random score and add that we have not taken the MCAT yet to follow the question? Yes, that is correct. Any other questions? No. Feel free to write it on the chat, private message us, or unmute yourself, or raise your hand, whatever you prefer. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and share the link with you all. Thank you all so much for coming. This survey is just, like I said, it's just 3 questions, and then it'll ask your name, your email, and just a question asking what are you interested in learning about aside from the medical school curriculum, just so for our purposes in terms of planning for the academic year. I do see a question here. What advice do you have for students looking for research experience? I don't know if anyone from my team would like to add on. To start off, I would just like to say, it's important for you to kind of understand that there are different research experiences that you can seek. I feel like every time we think of research, everyone thinks it's like wet lab and being in a lab and like working with rats and things like that. It is not at all like that. That is one way to acquire research experience, but that is not the only way. You can definitely look into like sociological research or clinical research. I would definitely suggest that if you are just starting to get research experience, it's important that you become aware of the different types so that you can really explore different options you have. I would also suggest to look into Mi Mentor, the platform and the website, as there are often a lot of opportunities there to be able to gain research experience. But yeah, that is just something that I've learned as I've discovered different research experiences. I don't know if anyone would like to add on. Okay. Someone said, do we need to fill out all 15 activities? You do not have to fill out all 15 activities. Just make sure that you have the activities that you have been a part of. Many times people think that like it has to be something that's continuous, but it is possible that maybe you participated in one event that is super meaningful. You can also include that as well. Is the PowerPoint available after this meeting? We'll go ahead and post it along with the recording. And if you all complete this survey, you will actually get access to it first, because we will be sending it to you too.
Hi, sorry, I didn't see a raise hand option, so I'm just, I don't mean to interrupt you, sorry. I had a question about the MCAT prep course, just to clarify. So if we bought just the books and the online books and like, they come with a practice test, would that be considered a prep course, or does it have to be like a real course that you have like mentorship from them and like all that?
That is considered a prep course. Just so to give you a bit more of like an understanding of why we're asking those questions, is more of our for analysis reasons, for our purposes. It isn't something that's gonna make you like provide you any positive points or negative points on your application. It's just a matter of us really understanding where our students come from and what resources they have available to them. So those textbooks, they do count as a prep course, but it won't go against you in any way.
Thank you so much.
Okay, if there aren't any other questions, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be in touch shortly. And we look forward to hearing all your great stories through your applications. You can go ahead and stick behind if you have any other questions or would like to break into sessions with one-on-ones.